Boop.
Does this
Whoa.
cue you in at all or what?
No, the cue is me saying, "Hey, Jorge, we're now live," which we now are. We now are live. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome. Thank you, Jody P and Bougie. You sent over some people to raid us. Please be nice. It's only 2 minutes late, so I don't want to hear anything about it's 7:17. Where are you guys? Jorge, I was holding him captive. We were chatting. What's up, Jorge? How's it going?
No. Don't lie. We're still trying to resolve how we're gonna fix this appearance fee, because it's changed a few times. It was the first fee when you asked me to be on your show. I have a speaking fee.
Oh my gosh. I have a speaking fee, not a complaining fee. Okay.
and then you inconvenience me by making me change the time. So that's going to be added on to your appearance fee.
You got me.
And then for you not realizing that I'm a freaking boomer, you wanted me to use Discord, which is like this new trendy stuff, and you should know better than that. Don't you respect the gray in my beard? What's wrong with you?
You got a YouTube channel. You go live. You know how to turn on Discord. Have you ever used Band? Have you ever used Band?
Nope.
Okay, I can't figure out Band. I was gonna say if you could figure out Band, but never mind. Wrong example. You ever use Facebook?
I looked at it once and said, I don't get it, so I just got off of it. Facebook, yeah, of course. I grew up with Facebook. Well, not really. It was already
perfect. So you can do Facebook, you can do Discord. It's fine. It's chat rooms. Well, look. Hello, everyone. Poo2, SVC, Steve. I see you, Jesse, in there. Barbara.
No. You haven't finished discussing my fee. You just wanted to wash over it.
Okay. I could accept doubling the fee. But why should I have to pay because you're unprofessional and don't know how to use Discord? Why do I have to pay for that?
Hey, are you trying to shame your elders? Is that what you're doing? Were you not raised correctly?
I was raised correct. That's why when someone
you're supposed to respect my authority.
Oh my gosh! Right? Oh, here we go. All right, you said that you send the invoice to the Isopod agenda. We'll take care of it this one time. I don't want to hear this ever again. Okay.
Yeah, I'll take your Ivana Caras as a payment.
Oh my gosh, you're getting mystery snails. Okay. And not the magenta ones. You're getting the orange ones with the chips in the shell. Okay.
The ones that are all smelly because they've been dead for 3 days.
Well, if you guys go ahead.
We don't get to see comments here, huh?
No, I see. It's not built in. No, it's not built in.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
That's right. Look, I'm a boomer, but I still can figure it out, all right?
Okay. Make sure you put the text size in extra large.
Well, yeah, no, I don't have a magnifying glass.
Robert Jackson, Nick, give him blueberry snails. No way.
Blueberry snails.
Will the laundry jump scare us this stream? I hate you.
The snozberries taste like snowberries.
I side with Jorge on the Discord thing. You live on a farm, okay? You're biased.
Jody.
That was Jesse. Jody is on Discord. Jody can use Discord just fine.
I know. I was gonna say. I thought she was just being supportive of me.
Okay, if you guys didn't already know, we're speaking with Mexicali Fishkeeper, aka my old friend Jorge, now acquaintance after this extortion. And Jorge was the first YouTube FishTuber person I ever talked to. He hit me up and had me come on his
sorry about that.
His channel. What do you mean? No, he hit me up and I came onto his channel, and that was like my first exposure to the crazy world of like FishTube and the chat and all these crazy hooligans that are now spamming right now. They're all saying hi to each other. That's the thing though, everyone always says hi to each other, their name, and like the first 20 minutes of the chat for all these streams are just everyone's first names. Yes. You're like, yes.
Well, you gotta get with it. You gotta hang out in the chat so you can learn people's names.
I mean, do you know everyone's name?
Pretty much.
Okay, do you know Lake Missoula Aquatics and Plants? Do you know their name?
Yeah, it's Ben.
Oh, wait, it says it right there. That's cheating. Okay, what about Love to Trip on Fish?
That I haven't seen before.
Okay, see, I got you.
Oh no, yeah. No, that's Ryan. That's Ryan. That's Cheryl's partner.
God. Okay, well, anyways, because you were the first person to talk to on YouTube, I've been waiting to talk to you on my channel for a while.
I don't know about that Empire Dirt though. That anybody that has dirt in their name, they can't be just Joe Dirt. That's all it is.
I'm kind of with you. Steve said Jorge popped my cherry too. Oh my goodness, I didn't realize it was that deep in the community. Barbara said I'm older than Jorge.
Oh, that's right. Steve came up on a pop-up live stream that I did, and we were just going at it. It was just me and him for the longest time.
Wow. Well, Barbara,
that was even before. That was even before I was even doing any interviews or anything. We need to revisit that. We need to have Steve on for a proper interview.
I just talked to Steve. Steve's great conversator. I just talked to him.
Well, I know that.
And he did the debate. Barbara, she says she's older than Jorge, and I even use voice Discord for a trivia game every week. So you can't use your age as an excuse.
See, but Barbara is smart. That's the difference, and I'm not.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, listen, there's a lot to get into. I did put in the title, Filterless, Aquariums, Plenum filters, community on YouTube. But one thing that I did actually want to start with is, what was the last fish that you bred?
Angelfish that I purposely bred were the angelfish.
Okay, purposely. What
because
about?
I couldn't figure it out.
How long did it take you to figure it out?
It probably took me about 3 months. To be able. Well, it was the first time. They were the eggs. The fish did their thing. They got the eggs to wigglers and then they ate them.
Right.
And then I decided I was gonna pull them, and I was able to get them to the wiggler stage, but once they became free swimmers, they were dying on me because I couldn't feed them. I didn't have the right food to be able to feed them. So I started talking to Funk, and he was kind of suggesting to do like microworms and stuff like that, the smaller and smaller live foods. He said, but he told me that he never had to do that. He always was able to just crush flakes and get them to raise them that way. But that's because he was he says, I had to figure out a way to grow them out quick because he was breeding for profit.
Right.
And he had time to do it, whereas I'm always gone for work. So, it's just,
you're not feeding them 5 times a day.
Oh hell no! I don't feed any fish 5 times a day, whether they're fry or not. I never been in a live. I was sure. Oh, okay, Christopher, we can make that happen.
See, look what you just did. Episode 90. Wait, are you already?
Episode 90 is Nick. It's Nick with propagating plants.
Okay.
This is number 90.
See,
and holy shoot. Ooh, I gotta make sure. I might have to push him up because I just realized that I might have conflicting dates. Okay, I'll check that after the stream. But
I was gonna say, and you're talking to me about inconveniences. Here we go. The hypocrisy in live time.
The difference. Here's the difference, young buck, is that the privilege is yours to have me on your channel, where the other way around, it's people's privilege to be on mine.
Oh, okay.
Not that I have an ego. Don't get it twisted. We're just stating facts here.
Okay, no ego, sure. You just elderly respect demands. Apparently, that's fine. I mean, it's funny you talk about like, I asked this guy, blah blah, and I think that's what's funny about like the YouTube stuff is like, it takes you go to a club and ask someone for help with something and puts it online. Like you could just go live and just mention you're having this problem. Suddenly the 5 people in the chat like, oh, I did this and this, or you know what I mean? And to me, it's just such a crazy experience when you think no one else could possibly have the same problem as you, and then suddenly you have 3 people like, oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Well, yeah, that's the benefit of getting to know the people in the community. Because interestingly enough, in our group here, or the circle that we kind of encompass ourselves in, a lot of the people are either breeding just for the sake of breeding stuff, or they're breeding for profit. So they're more than likely gonna have the experience of coming across some of these problems and might be able to have a solution. And there's so many of us. I mean, I know uh, on any given live stream, you might have, 60, 70 people, but out of those 60, 70, the big majority of them are experienced hobbyists.
Right.
Unlike when you go to like a bigger channel and they go to a live stream, well, then you have a lot of beginners. I notice there'll be some of the experienced people in there, but like, for example, just to use what somebody's, you go to KG Tropicals.
Right.
It's not uncommon that a big portion of the people that are watching that live stream, a lot of them are going to be like people that are just starting out. And the reason I use them as an example is because it's not uncommon to come across them, because they did a lot of the 10 type videos, like
Yep.
10 this, 10 that, 10 that. And so it's very tailored to beginner aquarists to be able to come across them, especially with the reach that they have, because they have, what is it, 100,000 subscribers or something like that. So the
Yeah.
algorithm will get, do the work that it needs to do and make sure, because of the type of videos that they do, they're going to engage a lot of people that are looking for information. It's just the way they design your channel. Where I think is, if they're looking for, if yours or mine will probably be the last ones to appear on there, because we don't do necessarily a lot of that stuff. It seems like more of the videos that you do are more geared towards experienced hobbyists, that you're talking about other issues that you come across once you've been keeping fish for a while, or you're talking about a specific species or a process of breeding. It's a different conversation that is being had. And so yeah, that's the difference. And once, like within what we call the fish fam or community or whatever you want to use, adjective you want to use, you're gonna find, like, I can look in here. I'm just glancing at the chat, and I know like Ben Sharp, I know for a fact Jesse, just one more fish, Jody
Okay.
P, Cheryl, they're all breeding multiple species. And and just like that is Steve, who we were just talking about, have all, I don't, Joe, Joe, I don't know if Joe is I haven't really had a conversation with Joe other than the chat. So that's maybe something we need to change too.
Episode 93.
Uh, yeah. Yeah, we're gonna end up with 100 episodes by the time this night's done.
I know. You got it all planned out. When are you gonna start doing repeat guests on there? That's the question.
I have.
Oh, okay.
I have.
Okay.
It's anybody that's been a guest on my, it's anybody can, if you want to come back on. I've had Kyle on twice, Brendan on twice. Fathom is the only one that's been on like 3 times as a specific guest, not just like a open pop-up stuff.
All right.
Who else has been there? Well, Funk, but we do a different live stream together, so that really doesn't count. But no, he's been on there multiple times. I think he was on as a single, and then when we had the shouting match,
Yeah, that was fun.
Jose has also been on there multiple. Yeah, there's been plenty of people that have been on more than once.
Well, did you see the debate that I did with Jesse and Steve about the monster fish?
No,
we had a fish. We had a fish debate. I was
okay.
That reminded me of our shouting match. I want to do more of them, but I'm trying to find I'm trying to think of like the right people, then the right thing to have them debate. I want to do a few more.
Well, wasn't it on your live stream either a couple days ago that they were talking about? Was it Ross that was saying that all the hot fish chicks are taken or something?
Yes.
Well, you could talk about the correlation between that and OnlyFans, and
that's it, that's been coming. There's like a lot of salty, like lonely fish boys out there that have been like, man, this fish stuff is cool, but where's the fish ladies?
I'm not young anymore. I'm glad I'm not young. I'm happily married. I have a beautiful wife. I've missed all that drama.
Yo, can you imagine if folks start hanging outside the fish store, like, like just to hang out, just
harassing all the young ladies that go in there?
Like it's the mall or something.
Well, maybe your new venture is to do what was it? There was only farmers. Now you can do only fish keepers.
Well, you know, I think that the problem is I've been talking about like there's a lot of single men and women fish keepers out there, but they just don't hang out on the places that the people that are looking for them are, you know?
I don't know if having a fish partner is a good idea, because
okay,
how compulsive are you when it comes to buying fish and how much money you spend on fish? Now imagine you have twice as many in a household. You're not going to be able to pay rent. Somebody's got to have a level head that's going to put their foot down and say, no, you're not going to buy that.
No, wait. I feel like, what if you both just like different fish? So then you're like fighting with each other, like, you know, like, no, you can't use that tank for that fish. Like, no, that's a waste of space. And then like you just hold it up.
That's called Hagen Hill Designs. That's what that's called.
Okay.
Katie and Jake. That's exactly who. That's who's. Let me turn on the fan in here because it's getting warm. Hold on.
Oh, you got it. Okay, now that he's gone. Can you believe this guy? Triple the speaking fee. Let's see. What are you guys doing over here? They might start calling us a gang. Ryan has to run to find his fish once by me first to see if they'll fit with what we already have. See, I feel like that works. I feel like that works just fine. It works better
when
they
want to be a responsible adult.
No,
because then the money you had for the mortgage all of a sudden went to that new tank and the fish. And
let me put it to you this way. So if my girlfriend came in and she saw the Sineppa red pencil fish, she'd be like, oh, it's a fish. Now, if I had a partner that was in the fish stuff and she came in and saw a couple Sineppa reds, she'd be like, yo, did you just spend like $300 on these pencil fish? You know what I mean? Like, you have a partner that could actually hold you accountable because they know something about fish and the habits, what they're doing to your financial life.
You know what's going to happen then? When you start saying, honey, what are we having for dinner? She's going to turn around and go, why don't you go lick that fish?
Exactly. No, but that's the balance. This is the give and take. See? And then, you know, you can be like, well, you go lick the beta fish or something. You know what I mean? The transshipped guppies. You know, I don't know.
No. Yeah, I think the only way this works out to have any success, your partner cannot be into the hobby because they can't be complicit. Okay. Because if they're complicit with you, you're gonna be homeless in a matter of years.
But you're assuming everyone in the hobby has MTS. Some people are happy with just the one.
Tell me who doesn't.
The one shrimp
Name
tank.
one person that doesn't.
No, there's some people that just have one fish tank.
No, okay. Name one person that doesn't.
I don't know their name, but I did pick up a setup from them. I picked up setups from many people that were getting rid of their one fish tank.
Yeah, they're no longer in the hobby.
Listen, it's fine. I mean, I guess I get what the desire is, though. Like someone that at least appreciates. Maybe they're not into the hobby, but they enjoy it. You know,
here's what I that's what because
there's people that watch YouTube videos that don't have fish tanks.
Yeah, I used to do that.
Okay,
I used to do that.
So see?
Look how bad that ended.
Okay. Well, not everyone has a garage. You know, maybe that's if your fish tanks are already taking up all the space, they can't get their own, and it's fine.
Well, I'm glad Jody's just showing up because we were just talking about her, so she missed all of that. You're gonna have to go watch the replay, Jody.
I mean, man, there are worse addictions and money sucking hobbies than fish. Honestly, I mean, come on.
Oh. Be careful how you word that.
Oh God!
I would say some people actually do make money.
Oh God! Brett, this is where bare bottom Brighton comes in. Of course. I mean, what do you? Okay, this like on a serious note though. When talking about especially the clubs and stuff,
well, then you don't want to talk to me. We're gonna get serious. You know that, right?
Fine. No. On a semi-serious. So the clubs and stuff, it's all like, oh, we're struggling to get new hobbyists in, blah blah. And like one of the things I'm saying is like, yo, like where do like younger people like to hang out? Like they like to hang out places they might meet someone, you know, that they can be romantically involved with. And I'm like, the clubs right now, they're not providing that. But really, if you wanted to get new people, you got to make the clubs the new spot for fish singles. Okay, think about it.
I'm glad you touched on that, because I was just watching something today, and it's club related actually. I was telling you when we were backstage that there's an event that's happening on the 27th that I'm looking forward to. Well, one of the local fish club, which is Coast, which stands for California Organization Aquarium something tropical. It's a weird name for a fish club, but it's out of the LA area. Right now, the only reason you would see a presence of that club is because the vice president is under 40. I would almost even say that he's under 30, but that might be a stretch. I don't want to offend him. but because of his taking the lead on that and posting stuff all the way is how you know that club exists. And I went and looked at their board, because I'm trying to see if I can get one of them to speak as a guest for my live stream. I'm kind of giving you a little bit of what might be coming down the road. His name's Ricky, I believe.
Okay.
And and I wanted to see what his status was, because I'm really interested in interviewing him. But you look at the president, he's the vice president, and then everybody else that serves on the board, they're all older than me. I mean, and interestingly enough, I was looking at that, but I look at the members that are there. Most of those members are under 30. So it makes no sense how a club that has a lot of young people are not taking the lead. Is it one, because they're not allowed to do it? You got old heads that don't want to relinquish, their quote unquote power, or they don't want to participate. So I don't know. That's kind of where I'm trying to do it. That's the reason why I want to talk to Ricky, because I want to see what's going on, because I look at their what composes their membership, and they're all young, people like you, or not younger,
but none of them are on the board.
They seem none of them are on the board.
That's weird.
And I don't even think of that a good majority of them even attend the meetings, because I got to go, but that's only one meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I only went to one meeting, and I didn't. Us old heads, I was probably the youngest of the older heads that were there.
Oh my gosh, were you in a graveyard?
Pretty much. We're all there on borrowed time.
Oh my gosh. No, so wait, how are they all mostly comprised of younger people, but none of them are showing up? Do they got like?
Because I see them. They're all on social media. I see them all on Instagram. I see them on YouTube, and they're active members of the clubs. But and especially when they have like the swaps and stuff like that, that's when they all kind of show up. But again, I am unjustly making an assumption on just one meeting that I've been to. I really need to get out there at least a couple more meetings.
But I mean, definitely you see that there's some clubs around here that have a few younger people on the board. Like I think PVAS has made a conscious effort to get some younger people on their board, as the Potomac Valley Aquarium Society. And I think that it would make a difference if more younger people did get involved. But then the question is, like you said, it's like, is it that they don't want to get involved, or is it that either they're not allowed, or it would be too much hassle to fight with people all the time on the board, to come up with new ideas? Because that's what I had an issue with.
Here's what I've I hear from friends that are involved with a lot of these. I think the only exception to the rule would be the one that's in Florida, the Gold Coast Aquatic Society. I forget what their acronym is, because they're pretty much ran by YouTube content creators, which is Grant and Shelby.
Yep.
And you can really just tell the difference from that club because of their involvement with social media. They tend to be more out there. You find out about stuff like that, and they know. I think they have I don't know if it's a better reach, but more accessibility to other content creators that have good experience with certain topics to come in as guests. And I think even their appeal as content creators brings in a lot of other people to the meetings too. You can't discount that. It's like I know as controversial as King of DIY is, Joey. You cannot negate the fact that the guy can draw people. That's just at the end of the day, if he goes and speaks at a club, people are going to come and watch.
Right.
Whether you agree or disagree with the guy, whether you like him or don't like him, the guy shows up and people come. Same thing with Corey. Corey shows up, people will show up. And a lot of it is because they have a big presence in YouTube.
But see, here's why my problem with that is the current club model doesn't revolve around creating a community of people that come for the people there that are part of the club. They come for the one big auction or the one big speaker, but then they don't necessarily come back to the meetings after that over and over again.
But that's okay though, because let's say of a group of 100 people that came to watch, a celebrity, if you want to call it that. If you have 10 that stick around because they didn't know the club was there, that's 10 members you gained.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to, you're not trying to build the club overnight. It's because that's not going to work.
No, I'm not saying, I'm not saying that doesn't, but I'm saying, okay, then those 10 people stay, then they come to the next meeting, you got a speaker, you got an auction, then everyone leaves. I don't think there's enough of that engagement where you get to actually have time to socialize and hang out with the people. If you go to the dinner after the club meeting, maybe.
Well, but
I
think here's my take on it, because I'm kind of the oddball where I like being in social gatherings. I'm an extrovert. I guess if you look at the definition of an extrovert, that's pretty much me. I thrive in large groups. I enjoy the interaction.
You like to talk?
Yes. Yeah, obviously, right? You haven't been able to get a word in. But that's just my personality. And I notice that a lot of people at the meetings are not like that.
Yes.
They're introverts.
Yes.
By nature, they're introverts. So it's going to be very hard for you to be able to accomplish what you're saying if the majority of the people at the club don't really feel comfortable socializing to begin with.
That's why you got to get them comfortable. It takes different strategies. One thing at the club I went to that was really successful to me is they had a bunch of mop making supplies there just for people to use, and we were doing the swap. But then some of the people that were new that had never been there, I saw them and they kind of they were being all nervous and stuff. But then it was like, hey, you want to make a mop? They're like, yeah. And then they're making the mop, we're all sitting around talking, and you just gotta work on the environment to be geared towards that, because even introverts want to socialize in person and have a community, but you just got to break that ice. It's kind of how I feel. That's kind of my theory. But also I just like to hang out with my friends and stuff, so it's self-serving because that's just what I like to do. But
well, I think if you go to a club meeting on a regular basis, eventually it's no different than us here in this community, right? I think if we were all to meet for the very first time anywhere, we would all kind of be distant because we wouldn't know who we are. But it's because we've gotten accustomed to seeing each other, interacting with each other, that now has become like, oh yeah, they're my friends. It's as weird as that might sound, that's in reality what happens. Well, the reason I say weird is because you haven't had a face-to-face meeting like you normally do in society, right?
But I know what you mean. Just if you have a familiar face, But that's what I'm saying is you need more activities that help facilitate that breaking the ice of meeting, because maybe it's still gonna take more than one meeting, but maybe it takes 2 meetings instead of 4 meetings, where you start talking to someone because there's an activity that involved you having to talk to someone or something like that, and You know, maybe during that conversation, that person said, "Oh, I also keep dart frogs," and then you're, "Oh, I love dart frogs too," and now you have this connection beyond just fish, where you're familiar with that person. You know, and that was an example I used from this last meeting that I went to, because I had Big Steve come to it, and he was like, "This is the most that we've ever talked, and we've been to all these meetings together, and this is the most we ever talked." But there was a new person there that came, and I knew that that person kept dart frogs, and Steve kept dart frogs, and I was able to be like, "Hey, what's up with these dart frogs?"
Yeah,
see? But that's like the kind of thing that you could actively do, and it can even be to the point a new person comes, you go up, talk to them, learn a little bit about them. As soon as they say that thing, you know the members of your club. You're like, "Oh, you have a plant nursery? Here's John over here, who is doing immersed growth experiments with all these plants." You know, you got these two plant nerds talking to each other, and now that person's definitely coming back, because who else do they have to talk to about these things? You know,
You're just upset that nobody else likes isopods. That's all.
what?
You're just frustrated.
No way! Come on,
You're bitter.
Oh, come
You're being
on.
bitter because
No.
nobody else in your club likes isopods other than you.
I mean, actually, that is
You
like
know,
a little bit true.
in a hobby of weirdos, you went to the extreme weirdo side.
It's crazy that you know just how to cut straight to my heart, man. I definitely have to come online to get the isopod people.
Hey, you know what? We had a conversation, so that shows you that I was listening as much as it didn't seem like I was.
Yeah, no, you got me with that one. Okay, although I have had.
So Steve, you got to find him an isopod friend. Even you got to pretend like you like isopods so he doesn't feel left out.
Oh my gosh, man!
You know, and you can nickname him. You know, he can be your roly poly.
Plenty of people have isopods, and Barbara, I agree. Barbara said they need a much longer break time, 10 to 15 minutes after a speaker and all that. Yeah, I agree. That's what I'm talking about. But I will have to have conversations about this in the future, because I am entering a leadership position in a club. So
A cult?
yes, pretty much.
Isopod cult?
Pretty much.
No,
that's what I'm trying to turn it into. So.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the one thing.
That's why this stuff's on my mind, because I'm like, okay, here we go, responsibility.
So you figured, since the YouTube stuff didn't get you a date, if you become a cult leader, then you can probably come up with a date after that. Is that where we're going?
It's not dates.
That's your strategy?
That's just a harem, you know.
Okay.
Isopod freaks. But
Yeah,
I mean,
indeed, that would be freaky.
it was one of those situations where I felt like I wanted something to be done, and everyone wanted it to be done, but no one wanted to do it. So that's how I got myself in this mess. So we'll see how that pans out. I've opened myself to tons of critiques because I talk about clubs so much. So this will be fun, just on that front. So yeah. Hey, you can call me Mr. President from now on. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
Joking.
Mr. Roly-Poly.
Mr. Roly-Poly. I mean, do you think having younger people on the board leadership even makes a difference in attendance of younger people?
Yes, I think it does. It has to. I mean, it's because here's the thing. I think it'll have more innovative ideas, something different. You know, you got to have a balance, though. You can't have you can't have like people my age, extremely everybody on the board, but you can't have all young people, because you guys are go-getters, and sometimes you need to sit back a little bit and think about what you're going to do. But you got to have a balance. I think if you have a balance of a good number of intermixed, and you know, it's gotta work.
That's what I'm trying to go for. And Jesse, yeah, the board makes or breaks a club. Yeah, I think so. I think it's just I never want to have. What I want to try and go into and avoid is just like where things are like ever get contentious or stressful because people disagree. Like, you need to be able to have open disagreement and everyone comfortable giving their opinion, especially where, like you said, most fish people are introverts. So I find that like a lot of boards, it's full of fish people that are introverts, and then only one or two people maybe are more extroverted, and they're the ones that are really coming up with all the ideas, and you lose that diversity that you're talking about. That's important. You know, even if they did have some younger people and stuff, maybe it's like some more soft-spoken people that aren't gonna disrespect their elders by disagreeing. You know.
Let me put you on the spot, Mr. President. Based off of your experience of the stuff that you don't like, what would be one of the things that you would do to help improve? What is the one thing that?
What aspect?
Whatever. Yeah. Well, what is it that? Okay, since you're going to be the president now, what are some of the things that you would change that are currently wrong with what you're seeing in your current club?
So I was working on a whole document. So let me see. One.
All I need is one.
I think one is empowering the people in their positions to do those positions, because I think that, and that it's one thing, but tie into two things. If you let people be passionate about the positions they want to do, they're gonna go crazy and do so much work. You know what I mean? But if you hold too much control, if you add too much resistance, they feel like, I'm gonna come up with this idea and it's gonna, it becomes like a slog. And I feel like you have a lot of people who be willing to go crazy doing stuff for a club and stuff, but something makes it difficult or kind of like trying for them. And if you just pull back, trust the people to do the title that they have, and let them focus on the aspects that they're passionate about it, and not projecting like, oh, you're the social media person, this is what I think our social media should look like. Let them be like, hey, I have the social media plan, can I do it? Go for it. And it's something they want to do, so this is already a volunteer position, so they're doing something they enjoy. Now more stuff's getting done.
I was gonna say, because I don't think our club has a social media position, and that was one of the things I was gonna suggest. Is it seems to me crazy that in today's age and age, you don't have a spot on the board that is kind of like the person in charge of publicizing on all the social medias, not just
like the communications.
Right now, if you have a communications person, because like in our club, their extent of social media is Facebook, but Facebook is dead. I mean, not a lot of people really use Facebook that much. I mean, I have an account, but it'll be hard pressed to catch me posting stuff on there.
I mean, just posting on Facebook
by default,
you definitely miss out on a lot of people. Like, people use it, but like you said, it's like all the social medias if you want to really serve everyone.
Or it would be something like the person doing shorts and uploading them onto Instagram, TikTok, and all these other, YouTube, of the meetings. It doesn't have to be the entire talk, but just the people coming in, kind of like almost what you see when people go to events, all these videos that they do where there's like a quick short video. You're not doing a whole walk through the event.
Yeah.
But even doing stuff like that for every club meeting that you have, I think would generate a lot more interest, especially for the demographic you're trying to reach.
Yeah, no. I mean, I agree, Jenna. People have to be willing to do the work, definitely. Everyone wants to be boss. Not everyone. I mean, I think that a good leader is empowering people that are actually talented to do their jobs. Like, I don't think it's the president or the leader's job to like make everything successful. It's to coordinate the people who have the skills and the talent and passion to make everything successful. It's the teamwork aspect of it. And it's just like anything. Christopher said, I've been around fish clubs for 4 decades. I've heard this conversation. I was a young guy, now I'm the old guy. It's a struggle. It's one of those push and pull things throughout time, with any kind of organization, really.
Yeah. I saw the comment from Jenna, so I forget that I have I thought I was doing like a second page, and stupidly I did a business page that I never check.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to see if she said she sent me something today, so I'll
No,
make sure I don't miss that.
I have Jorge know I was just poked on Facebook. And then Jenna said, from a
Yeah.
teaching background, we say you should be facilitating more than just telling people what to do. Yeah. Um, but if you don't have a talent pool to pull from because of membership numbers, and organizing people who are passionate isn't possible. Yeah, there's a lot of challenges, but even if it is an age-old struggle, I think it's a fun challenge, a fun thing to hop into. I do feel passionate about it, so my goal is just to help
Well,
make a fun environment for people passionate about the hobby to hang out and have a good time.
are you going full blown opening up your own club, or are you going to take a leadership role in your current club?
I'm gonna take a leadership role in an existing club. I mean, it's not like it's a secret or anything, but I'm just gonna let them do their whole board announcements and stuff when that happens. I'm a member of like 20 clubs, so
Oh, we're breaking news here.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We're breaking news. I'm ready for the investigations, the the impeachments. Ada the cat for president. I agree. I definitely agree. But I mean, there's some stuff like I want to do an online BAP program. Like there's some stuff like that I still think is room. You know, clubs aren't the end all be all. There's lots of other communities to help draw together. And I think that fish breeding is one that is a constant source of connection with people, you know.
See, I thought that one of the requirements for the back program was that you were supposed to document either photograph or video the process of so it lends itself perfect for creating a YouTube channel, even if you're just breeding for your club.
Exactly. So I'm trying to get that going sometime in the next few months, because I think it's a lot of fun. I've been doing BAP in one of my local clubs, and it's a lot of fun competing with my friends. Like, oh, I'm submitting 4 species this month. Like, what you got going on? Like, go to their fish room. I'm not seeing a lot of fry, man. You're falling behind. It's just fun, you know. It adds another
Oh,
aspect of
and
things.
I just wanted to make sure that you're aware is we're going into the second hour, so that's gonna increase the appearance fee, okay?
Have we gone an hour already? Oh my gosh, bro.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh my god.
You haven't even got to the subject. Let's get with it. What did you want to ask me?
No. I mean, this is kind of the subject, because we talked about finding community on YouTube is in the title. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to some degree, you've had 90 interviews, so there's a lot of stuff I'm sure you've talked about, but you know, with finding community on YouTube, does it compare to any community you've been to in real life? Like, what is it like being in a community on YouTube versus maybe something else you've been a part of, like in person, more conventionally?
You know what? Oddly enough, this is by far the biggest community that I'm involved with. Out, in anything that I do. And it's interesting, again, like I was telling you, the fact that even though a lot of us have not necessarily met in person, the day that we do come across each other, it's never awkward or anything like that. It's almost like seeing an old friend. It's I don't know, it's the weirdest thing that's happened to me, because I am yet to find myself in an uncomfortable situation when I get to meet somebody in real person. It's almost like it's like, oh, I just haven't seen you in a couple of days, even though it's the first time we're ever meeting. And I think a lot of it is because this platform lends itself to a lot of participation with each other, and a lot of people are pretty good about sharing personal stuff, and so you get to know people at a different level, I guess. Even it's even more than probably a fish club meeting, because a fish club meeting, it's once a month.
Right.
Whereas here we kind of cross each other almost on a daily basis, and multiple times in the day, depending on what you're doing and what live stream you're going to.
That's really
It's
good
not
point.
uncommon. It's not uncommon to see the same group of people watching the same stuff that you watch.
Right.
And I don't know. It's a whole different network, a whole different support network, and And I know this is true because every time the clash happens, you hear this excitement from the people that attended. And it's real. It's not like they're pretending to be excited that they got to hang out with a bunch of their peers. You can hear it. It's funny when it's this tone and this energy that people come back with. If you go watch a lot of the videos of some of these people the week after the the clash, there's like this energy and buzz about them because they got to all hang out. And that's the one thing that I get really jealous about is that people get to experience that.
Yeah.
I know one of these days it'll happen, but
You're not going this
but
year?
yeah, I kind of envy. No, I can't. Not this year. Not this year. I'm at a crossroads because I kind of convinced my wife. Not convinced. She actually told me, as he goes, well, next year. Is for a lot of times for our vacations, what we do is we go see the grandkids, and a lot of it I get it because she wants to leave that memory because they're getting older. Our grandkids are starting to get into, the oldest are 10, and then 9, 6, and 5. So,
wow.
They're in that age group. Well, the ones that are 10 in the next couple of years, they're going to become preteens. And we all know what happens to preteens. Older people are no longer the cool people. And that's the last thing they want to hang out with. So seeing that that's what's happening, my wife has finally said, all right, I think we've done our job now where the kids are always going to have a memory of us from when they were smaller. Now, once they start getting older, it's going to be on them whether they want to come with us or whether they want to go do whatever teenagers do. But at least in her opinion, and I agree with her, the foundation has been laid for them,
for sure.
So that whenever they want to remember grandma and grandpa, and they want to go hang out, they're always welcome. But that's kind of the groundwork while we were doing it. Why every year we wanted to make sure that we spent our vacation time with them. So with that being said, I think next year she said, you know what? I know you've been wanting to do events, and there's an event that's happening in Lexington during the summer. But there's also the clash towards the end of September, beginning of October.
Yeah, man.
So it's kind of like, well, since we're not going to do a vacation, that kind of might have changed perspective. I don't know yet, though, because if I go to Lexington, I'll be able to hang out with Skull Aquatics because I'll be driving through his town, and I'll be able to go check out his fish room. If I go to the clash, if he goes to the clash, we'll hang out. But if he doesn't, then I get to miss out on that opportunity.
You gotta get him to go.
So
you gotta get him to go.
Yep.
But that energy, though, honestly, that's why I feel invested in clubs still, because I get that when I go to a good meeting and a bunch of my friends are there, like I feel very excited afterwards and just energy. Like, so that's one reason why, even though like Christopher said, 40 years we'd have this discussion or whatever, like it's still something really special there, even though it's only once a month.
I wonder, how do you prevent a lot of, because I see some of it in our club where and I think it's because they only meet once a month. I think our situation that we have here is very unique, and you don't see that happen as often. But in clubs is more prevalent, where people are jealous of, or they're competitive with each other when it comes to like the auctions and the swaps, and they start getting upset because certain person is the one that is having the most success and I'm not, and why do so and so person's fish always do better than mine? I hear that stuff, and it's just kind of like, really, is that what we're doing? It's
right.
Do something different then. It's
yeah.
I don't know. I think like everything else, branding is a big thing, and if you don't brand yourself, then don't be upset that people don't want to get your product. I mean, it's just that's just business. That's business 101.
Yeah.
So, but you do see that, and I think a lot of it is because there's really not that many personal connections in a club, because you're only seeing those people once a month, and if they don't attend, it's probably 2 months or 3 months or X amount of months that you don't see them. So there isn't.
But that's why I'm saying
there isn't.
It's even more important you make sure people connect when they are there, if it's only once a month.
Yeah.
But it's also like you said before, when you're talking about they need to do all platforms, like clubs should have a Discord server. Bro, in the Discord server,
that's for young people.
there's like at least 10 30 plus 40 plus year olds in the chat right now that is on Discord. I talked to all the people on my Discord. Come on, bro.
Here's why
you can't use the gray as an excuse. Just dye your beard, it'll be fine.
Here's the thing. I got rid of it because I couldn't turn off the notifications.
Oh my! You can turn them off. That's true though. You got to. You definitely got to do that.
But I couldn't figure it out, and I didn't want to take the time to figure it out, so I just uninstalled it.
Yeah.
Because that was driving me nuts. It was pinging me every 5 minutes. Somebody's on there putting something. Now I know how people feel on my feed on Instagram.
Oh, I muted that in like 5 minutes. But the Discord, you gotta like mute just the channels you're not interested in. So like, I get it. It is a learning curve, but it's a great spot to just after the meetings and throughout the weeks.
How do you drop a channel? Because I made a mistake of getting on Father Fish's Discord. And that's nonstop. That thing is like bing, 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 bing. It's like
you just go in the channel and just like right click if you're on your computer, or I guess you probably press down or something on your phone and just do mute channel.
I don't know how I don't know if it's because you send me the link directly to yours, but I don't see anybody else's in there, and I wish I could just keep it to a couple of channels and that's it.
Yeah, that you can. So you can mute all individual channels and stuff, and that.
But that's all. You said mute, but you can't get rid of them, huh?
You can. I think you can. You might be able to hide them or something like that.
I don't want to hide them. I want to get rid of them.
What do you? Well, if it's not your server, you can't delete the channel, but you can make it so you don't see it, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you're so antisocial.
Yeah, I don't want them to see me on there either. That's good.
Oh, okay. Well, you can turn yourself invisible. That's what I do. So I always look like I'm offline.
Well, then how are you gonna find someone if you're invisible?
Well, they
complain about not making connections, but
no, they can see you. Invisible. They just don't know you're online, Because if you don't have that on, they're like, you could type something in and then you'll see the symbol like, oh, they're on their phone, like they just checked it. You know what I mean? Kind of a thing. Yeah, but Discords are a great place to just like keep building that connection, even when you're not seeing each other. Because you're posting oh, look what my fish did today. Oh, another one dead. Another one jumped. You know what I mean? This fish came in. Like, it's fun, Now,
can you hear my grandkids?
I did earlier. I don't hear them as much now.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they're having a ball out there. Grandma's, I don't know what she's doing, but she's got them going.
Building that foundation. So, okay.
Yep.
Filterless aquariums. You got 20 filterless aquariums. And so you're telling me you do this, like you must have like a substrate you sell or something, right? Like, no, you don't got a secret potion. No. You don't have a Mexicali Fishkeeper method. Like, what kind of witchcraft is going on? How long have you been doing this, the filterless thing?
The filterless was probably when I was changing over I was doing this many aquariums. What the thing with me, I'm always willing to try stuff out to see. Like if people tell me, don't rinse your sponge filters under tap water because that's gonna mess them up, and I'll be like, really? Why? And I'll go do it, and I'll find out. I won't do it all my sponge filters, but I'm gonna have one. Then I'm gonna see what the hell happens, because I'm finding out more and more that a lot of the stuff is based off information that they heard secondhand and not personal experience. And I can't say yay or nay on something unless I really try it. And so, that's kind of been the whole thing with my fish room, has been trying different things. If you go in there, you'll see that I've got all different types of filtration. I used to have a canister, but that quit and I never put it back on. It just it was sung that I had on there, and it just burned out. And I just I wasn't I didn't see anything better or worse from a canister filter that a sponge filter could do. So I just I I have a limited amount of receptacles that I can use. So having to put powered equipment on it makes it difficult. You gotta start deciding what you want to do. Air makes it more feasible, so because that only takes one connection, and you can run multiple tanks.
Right.
Um, but what I guess what happened was when I originally my fish room was kind of set up with no thought whatsoever, but I just started kind of making like a U-shaped little area where I was setting up aquariums, which I thought was great. Everybody else seemed to like, but my wife didn't like it. She thought it was weird that I had this little sectioned off area in all this garage. So she's like, why did you take these tanks that are out here in the middle of nowhere where she didn't like what she didn't like was opening the door and running right into a rack of aquariums.
Yeah.
So she said, why don't you just put them all up against the wall?
You just had them like in the middle of the garage for no reason?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm with her.
Well, I had a reason. I was just kind of, trying to make an aisle and, just so that I was trying to maximize the little space that I said I was going to use up. And I got carried away, of course,
Right. As one does.
And so all that stuff I had it running on hang on the backs, air systems, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, hang the back. Oh no, and I had internal filters because I wanted to see whether they would work or not work. I was just trying everything out there that pretty much everything with the exception. What's the only type of filtration?
Under gravel?
Excuse me. Oh, I have several under gravel filters.
Oh wow. Okay.
I love those.
Wow.
They're my favorite. I guess it would be like the moving media, the ones that go inside I guess when I first came onto the scene, were like the big deal. What was it, K something media?
The floating balls.
It was like a Zist filter. No. It was like a Zist little canister filter that you would put inside. It was like fluidized biological media in the tank that was air driven.
Gotcha.
And that was like the hot trending stuff when I first came to YouTube, but I never got around to trying out that type of filtration. But other than that, I've had canisters, under gravel, sponge, internal filters. What else is out there? Hang on the backs. Sumps. I've done a sump.
So you tried it all and you hated them all and just threw them out and went filterless.
I didn't hate them. This is what I learned. What I learned from all of that is they all work. They all work. There isn't a bad filter system. What at the end of the day really it comes down to is your personal preference. What are you trying to do? Or actually what you're trying to accomplish. Because you're not going to put a canister filter in an aquarium that you're trying to breed shrimp, because more than likely the shrimplets are going to get sucked up the intake.
Right.
Or it's going to be too much water movement. It's going to boil down to the application that you're trying to do and what budget you have. That's really what it boils down to. That's the only thing that should really dictate what kind of filtration system you like, or it's all personal preference.
So then what was the goals that you had that led you like filterless? Like what are you trying to accomplish?
Oh no. Well, yeah, I started watching LRB's channel, and he had, before he left Indiana, he had some outdoor ponds that he was breeding some stuff out there. And I thought, oh shit, I kind of had an idea that was possible because at the same time I was watching like Dexter's World, and I was watching some other channels from Mexico, from South America, and I noticed that a lot of the people outside of the United States were not using any sort of filtration other than biological filtration. So it's like, and they're breeding massive amount of fish. It's not like they're just keeping one fish. I mean, they have densely populated areas with, with a bunch of fish in there. So I started looking at that and it's like, it's got to be something to it. I mean, and the equipment didn't matter because they were using the inserts from the refrigerators, the insulation, turning it out the side, sealing up whatever holes they had in it, and using it as a exterior door pond. And all they were throwing in there was some floating plants, and that was it. Call it a day.
Wow.
And so watching that, I'm going, you got to be able to do this. And then I, came across LRB Aquatics, and I started listening to why he was doing it, and it made perfect sense. And that's why I decided to set up a couple of totes. That's originally how I started, and noticed that I wasn't having any issues. Now, my biggest problem is heat. I have a big problem with heat, and filterless can work only so much. But once the temperature starts getting too high, you got to run air. Or you're gonna kill everything.
That was gonna be my next question. Is like, does running air count as filterless, or to you, or do you run air and all?
I mean, here's the thing though, because Corey's even said that if you're gonna drop an air stone in there, why don't you just drop a sponge filter? It's basically the same thing. You're gonna have some filtration.
Yeah.
I can even to now I'm not running air on any of my filterless tanks with the exception of what was the goldfish tank. And that's because even before the temperatures really started getting hot, I noticed that they were gasping at the top. So I'm assuming that they need a lot more oxygenation in that tank. So I dropped an air stone in that one, and that solved the issue. I didn't have an issue after that. But the other tanks, they're just mostly live bears in there or smaller body fish, and they're doing fine. I did have an incident with one tank, but it wasn't necessarily because it was filterless. It could have been filtered, and the same situation would have happened. I think the water level got so low. I had a bunch of dwarf sage in there, but it was getting really long. And I think the water level dropped so low in that tank that it started killing off the exposed leaves. And my son had come to the house and he goes, "Is there anything you want me to do?" And he was showing me, on video. I said, "Why don't you just top off all the tanks?" I didn't notice that was going on with the tank. And when he topped it off, all that decomposing stuff just got into the water column and pretty much nuked the entire tank.
Yep.
And but that was the only issue. But that was more not necessarily. Even if I had a filter in there, I don't think it would have been able to handle that much decomposing matter in it. Right. And so that was it. And then I lost my male Bozeman eye, but that was just because I don't know why. Because the females are fine and that tank was doing fine. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just. It does worry me sometimes if it gets way too hot. Like right now, I still have so we start coming into August is where it starts getting really, really hot down here. And I think I'm gonna have to run some sort of air into these aquariums. But a lot of the tanks, the 10-gallon tanks that I have that I'm not running filters in, they do have the old sponge filters in there. I'd never pulled them out. Just because you never know. If you have a fish room, it's always good to have ready to go media. And that was the only reason there. And it wouldn't be very hard to run some airlines and just reconnect them, reactivate them.
I guess my question with the totally filterless stuff is always why. It's why not have the quietness? Why not have the extra security?
It's quietness.
Really?
It's quietness. Yeah, it's crazy how much of a difference it does when you're not hearing the water bubbling.
The sound really is like the sound. You don't like the sound, like.
Oh no, it's not that I don't like the sound, but it's when you're. Well, see, for me, it was especially when I'm doing live streams, and not so much now. Now that I got a quiet air pump, my biggest problem is that I had a cheap, air pump that was very loud. And if you go watch my early videos, you will hear that distinguishable humming in the back. It's like that constant hum. And so being able to get rid of that noise was important to me. And now it's not. It's really a non-issue now. I kind of like being in the fish room because I don't hear it. I don't hear anything really running.
Fair enough. So what do you think is like if someone is like, I have this goal, and you'd be like, oh well, if that's your goal, do not do filterless. Like, what is what you should not try and do while doing filterless from your experience?
The only person I wouldn't recommend filterless to is somebody that's just starting out, because you're going to make mistakes, and margin for mistakes, if you don't know how to recognize change in behavior of your fish, you're going to end up with problems. But anybody that's been keeping fish for, I don't know, a year, I guess, you understand. Well, okay, no, let me rephrase that. If you understand the nitrogen cycle, because you could be in 3 months and really have a good grasp on that, you're not going to have any issues. But typically it takes people about a year to figure it out. It took me close to 5 years to figure it out, but
well,
no, but I'm just saying with experience, somebody that feels comfortable with what they're doing. I've always told people that I don't test my aquariums unless something odd is happening. But for me, a lot of indicators is the behavior of the fish, which anybody that's kept fish for a while, when your fish are acting different.
Yeah.
For whatever it is, and that's gonna be your number one signal that you got to pay attention to see what's going on.
Definitely.
That and smell, because a good healthy fish room doesn't smell. A fish room with issues, you're gonna start getting odd smells that you're not accustomed to, and that's the stuff you need to pay attention to, because the water will let you know too. It's just, it could be crystal clear and you can walk up to the tank and go, oh yeah, this is the one that's starting to foul up.
Yeah.
And it could be a number of things. And so if you have a good handle on that, you can go filterless. And the other reason why I wanted to make sure that I could run filterless is because I would see so many people having issues with power outages. And every time they had a power outage, their whole tanks would go belly up. And I said, there's got to be a way to prevent this. It can't be possible that just because you lost power for a couple of hours, your whole tank goes belly up. And that's why I also wanted to make sure if I could go filterless, then that's never a concern. A power outage will never worry me. It's just those were kind of my thinking behind why I wanted to go filterless.
Why do you think how do you think, did you find out how to avoid like power going out, your tank going belly up? Or
you can. Well, I think a lot of those situations are though in places that are extremely cold.
Okay.
Where the temperature is going to drop below the tolerable parameters for the fish, especially if they're not accustomed to it. Now, the other thing that I did notice, and is that behavior in the fish, is that they go through a normal weather cycle, because I'm not running heaters in my tanks. I'm not, it's just a box with water and plants and fish.
Yeah.
And they do go into those natural cycles because they're kind of going through the weather patterns. It's not always the same temperature. And I think that's important because it helps it helps your fish to have a tolerance to be able to adjust to when it's like really hot or cold. Obviously, any drastic change might affect them, or might cause them to breed too. I don't know. It's just, I haven't had any issues. For me, running filterless tanks is not the only thing I got to be very careful with, because I do have floating plants that I don't let the tops get oversaturated.
Yeah.
Because then you don't have that oxygen exchange, and that's another issue.
I've had that issue even in tanks where I had sponge filters in, just because, just the placement of the top of the tank, it's not like you're getting air in the tank just because the bubbles are coming out. It's like I still gotta disturb the top. And I had the red root floaters. I mean, they were 2 layers of them. They were so thick. And I was like, the fish were at the top, and I was like, I got 2 sponge filters in there. It still wasn't enough because the lights turn out and the plants start taking oxygen out of the water. So it's like,
Yeah.
even if in the day they're fine, it's almost like you're running CO2 in there. You know?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So, okay, there's a discussion in the chat. You've tried all these filters. Fine sponge filter or coarse sponge filter?
I like fine. I like fine. I just you have to clean them out a little bit more often, but not really. I mean, unless there's no water coming through, no bubbling going on, I let mine run forever. I mean, I don't I don't do like some people have a schedule. They'll do a water change 1 week and clean the filters the other. I don't. I'll do water changes, and then I'll notice when it's so saturated that shit's falling off the sides of the sponge filter. Then I go, okay, maybe I need to clean it out.
Yeah. I was liking the course, but now it's like I have some tanks that I've just been feeding so heavily. I'm getting that like mold buildup that I didn't get before with the coarse sponges. I put a fine sponge in there. I'm like, oh, it's looking much nicer in here already. So now I'm like, maybe I need both a coarse and a fine sponge in this.
Yeah, I think if I wasn't so cheap, I would have gone with Matten filters. That's the one filtration system I haven't tried. But I know some of the most prolific breeders use them, especially shrimp. For shrimp breeding, Matten filters is your absolute friend.
Yeah,
and
they look nice.
Yeah, but you can not make them so obvious because they could be the back wall of the aquarium. You know,
exactly.
I've seen where people grow moss on them too, but I don't know if that's counterproductive. But
it's extra filtration. It's extra mechanical filtration.
But if you're clogging up the pores, then I don't know if it's really doing any filtration. Then it's a filterless tank.
But with aesthetic, it's got more aesthetic than your average filterless. So then what's the Plenum filters then?
Plenum filters is basically taking it's a void at the bottom of the aquarium. That's really what it is. It's a void where it's going to provide slow water movement, very slow water movement, and that I don't know how I stumbled on Kevin Novak's videos, but I thought it was an interesting take because when I first got into the hobby in the late 80s, early 90s, most of the filtration was underground filters. That's all I ever remember. Right. That and the triangular shaped box filters, the acrylic little filters, the boxes. And those were pretty much the two main types of filtration you would go wherever you went to a store. They had a few hang on the backs. They were really expensive, if I remember correctly. That's the reason why I didn't get them. I don't know if they were kind of newer in the market. I don't know because I didn't keep fish up until that point. But undergravel filters always seem to work good. I remember for keeping water clear, there's nothing that works better than that. Because what happens is as the gravel gets saturated, it gets finer. And it's like having a real fine sponge. So it really clarifies your water. That's probably some of the clearest water in my fish room is from the under gravel filters. And I don't gravel vac those either.
That sounds nice.
So, but I haven't had them for that long either. I don't know what's the life expectancy of one of those filters is going to be. I think I have access to the bottom of one because it's on a rack, and I'll throw a flashlight on the bottom, but it doesn't look like it's like saturated with mold. How
long has that been running?
I want to say it's probably been about 3 years.
Oh wow, okay, that's a decent length of time for sure.
Oh, but I don't know if that's something that's going to be, a 5 year, 10 year. I don't know. I haven't ran it that long.
I mean, 3 years
but I know
is pretty good to me.
I know that for the longest time that was kind of like the main filtration. And then they tried messing around with it with adding power heads to undergravel filters. And according to Novak, that was kind of like the demise because undergravel filters weren't necessarily designed to have high flow water going through them.
Right.
And it started the flow was getting to the point where it was kind of counterproductive, according to him. But this is all stuff that I watched from his videos. And then At the same time, you have marketing that comes into place. And the problem with the under gravel filter that I see with it is there's nothing to replace. There's no parts that are moving. Nothing breaks. It's pretty much set it and forget it.
You're like on your father fish conspiracy theory. It's not enough planned.
It's not a conspiracy. It's a fact. As a company, if you're going to make money, you want to be able to sell a product on a regular basis.
Well, the sponge filters, they last a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean they do, but eventually you're gonna end up changing the sponges on it or something else, you know.
I guess you're right. Some people do.
Yeah, you know. And I noticed that the foam on that stuff after a while starts deteriorating, especially if you're like a excessive compulsive cleaner. You start wearing out on the on the sponge itself.
I could see that. And by the way, what's up? LT Blue said I'm a new to the hobby. About a month ago, due to the fact my nephew won a goldfish at the fair, which I think is funny.
The dreaded goldfish.
You became responsible for your nephew's goldfish. I think is funny. You must have been the one that took him to the fair. They're like, you did this.
Whoa, LT Blue wants to get it. He's really going high speed. He
what
got
the hell?
UNS with a CO2 kit.
What the hell?
LT, it sounds like you're trying to set up a dragster and you still haven't even learned how to shift out of first.
I haven't even messed with CO2 yet. But I'm not really into plants, so that's why for me.
I think I don't. No, I probably won't. Maybe, I don't know. I have this weird thing that I want to do. Well, not weird. It's not weird, but I mean, considering that anybody that's seen my channel would never guess this, but
oh god.
I would like to eventually do some aquascaping competitions, and if that's the case, you're going to need to run CO2.
Okay, I can see that.
So that's just kind of where I think if you get to that point, if you want to do anything for a competitive photograph, I think you almost have to run CO2.
And definitely at least make it a lot faster to get the tank ready for sure.
But yeah, because a lot of those competitions are time sensitive, I guess.
Yeah.
And you got to be ready by a certain time. I know it takes a lot of planning. I've been watching for a while now, but he hasn't posted a lot of videos now, but is it Ryo? Watanabe? I don't know.
Does he got an episode?
He's up in Japan. Huh?
Does he got an episode?
No, not with me.
Okay.
No, he's a big channel. He's a big channel.
Okay.
He ain't got time for me.
Hey, don't sell yourself short. And also,
no, it's not that. Look, it's funny because here's the thing. Here's the way this is why I don't have a lot of bigger channels on my interviews. It's not because I don't want to talk to them. I would love to talk to everybody. But the problem when a smaller channel reaches out to a bigger channel, there's always that, what do they want? And I hate people thinking that of me. So, and I've said this before, and I've talked to friends of mine. I go, look, I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing.
But wait.
And I know I'm going to get to a point. I'm going to get to a point where I'm not going to have to reach out to them. They'll know what I'm about. That they'll say, hey, I'd be interested in coming on. That's ideally the way I want to deal with it with the bigger channels.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to be the one reaching out to them, because how many people hit them up with the idea that they're going to get something out of it, whether it's views, whether it's, it's I call it like clout chasing. And that's the last thing I want people to think of me, that I'm doing that. Plus, I think it's cool that I get to meet newer channels, because if I wasn't doing what I was doing, I probably wouldn't have met you, and I probably wouldn't have met Jesse, and I probably wouldn't have met Jody, and I probably wouldn't have met Cheryl, and all these other channels. To me, this has been more rewarding, because I get to see you guys blossom, and grow, and that, to me, I feel like you're not feeling like I'm trying to get something out of you. and that I'm genuinely interested in what you're doing. It's not I'm not doing it for clout. I am so opposed to that
I
because
like that.
I see so many people do it. So many people do that. And but shit, you think I don't want to talk to Corey or any of these other big guys? I love to be able to talk to them.
They'll reach out.
I
I'm sure
find
they'll
them very,
reach out.
yeah, it's a matter of time. It's just a when.
I had the
But I
same
think everything,
mentality. Like, you know, you just do your thing, and
yeah. Yeah, you just got to do your reps. You got to do your reps, and eventually you're going to get to a point where, the best advertisement is word of mouth, and I think that's what I'm banking on. That my word of mouth of my reputation gets around, and people go, oh yeah, don't you know what? And I'll give you an example where that happened, and that Keith's here. He's not going to let me lie because Keith, even before KGE Aquatics, um, because of him is the reason that Michael's Fish Room came onto my channel. That was a big channel, even for me. That I think at the time I had less than 1,000 subscribers.
right,
But Keith was able to vouch and say, yeah, he's not doing this because he's interested in using you as a way to gain an audience. And that to me means a lot more than anything because it's you guys vouching for the fact that yeah, he's not interested in that. He's genuinely interested in having a conversation with you as a person, not what you can do for him.
right.
And I always want that to be very clear. It's never about what you can do for me. It's I wanted to get to know who you are and why you do this, and just well, you've been a guest, so you know what I'm talking about.
Well, also like for me,
Uh,
like, cause I've been, I like bringing people on like you to talk to on stream, and for me, it's like I kind of have a similar approach, where it's not really that interesting to talk to a lot of the big YouTubers. I mean, some of them are doing cool stuff, but most of the people in the chat are the ones that had the most interesting stuff going on. Like that's why one of the first people I talked to was Jody P, because she had like 20 species of hill streams. There's not any YouTuber I can think of that has 20 species of hill streams, unless they're Dan's Fish or something, and they're just selling them. You know what I mean? And it's just like, actually, the most interesting stuff as far as like breeding or things like that is talking to people hanging out in the chat, really. Cause I'm really big into the breeding and stuff anyway. So if I find some old guy that's been breeding killifish for 30 years that in his basement or something, I gotta teach him how to use the internet. I'd rather talk to him than some YouTuber.
well, the one thing that I've found very interesting is that and I'm guilty of this. Um, a lot of us that have a platform are not reaching out to some of the figures that have been like pioneers in the hobby. Unfortunately, we've already lost one in Rosario. I know that God, I always get his name wrong. Randy from Aquarium Co-op, he had a podcast, and he was able to get him on. There's a couple other gentlemen that he was able to get on, but I wish he would have done it on video. He just did it like a straight podcast, and but the information's out there. Being able to have access to some of these people, especially now that they're getting older, to be able to document their information outside of a fish club meeting, because fish club meeting talks are very different than having a conversation with somebody.
For sure, 100%.
Those are very structured, very time limited, and it's just it's different. Whereas if you can sit down with somebody and have an uninterrupted conversation, whether it's an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, it doesn't matter. I think that's a lot more interesting. A lot more information is free flowing,
100%.
and a lot of insight gets revealed in those conversations. So, again, the problem is I'm not in the right circles when it comes to trying to reach out to those people, because those people are in the circles of like the really niche clubs. Whether it's the ACA, the LA,
like, do you have like the names in your head, like who it is? But
like I would love to be able to talk to Dr. Dr. Lyons, who's he's got a couple of G'dayids named after him. I think he would be interested in find out because, you know, people that have been out in the field, collected species, I love hearing those stories. Every time I hear them talking about that stuff, I find it very interesting.
Yeah.
And it's not even necessarily the collection in itself, but it's everything that happened on that journey that I find the more interesting. The stuff that happened to them, their you know, whether they ran into trouble or, you know, all this other stuff. The only person that I've been very fortunate to have that conversation with was Mikoji and Ivan Mikoji. And it wasn't even on my channel. It was on a different podcast that we were doing.
You're getting around.
But that type of conversations are the ones that I would love to be able to have too. Okay. So I like I said, this is just a matter of time and doing the repetitions, doing the reps, and, you know, word of mouth. It's going to be a point where, you know, if I need to talk to somebody, it won't be like, oh, I don't know who you are. It'd be like, oh yeah, I heard about you, kind of thing. And it's kind of like, yeah, I'd be interested in doing it, or same wise where it's like, no, because I've had that happen to me too. I have it even with smaller channels, but it's not because they don't want to come on. It's just they don't feel like they're ready to come on, or they're not comfortable in front of the camera. Yeah. I've had a couple of people that I really wanted to talk to, but they felt that because English is their second language, they didn't feel comfortable doing that. But it's okay, because I think with time, you know, and if they're still in the hobby, I think eventually they'll come around and say, yeah, you know what, I'm ready. I feel like I'm ready to do this.
That'd be cool. I think that's one thing, like, is missing a little bit. Like, I didn't realize till recently how international the hobby is. I mean, we know as far as like importers and exporters and stuff, but if you really dive in deep into things, you start seeing like, oh, all these different countries, all these different cultures have their fish keeping ways, and it's like there's not a ton of people who are going outside of the sphere of people that speak English, you know, to interview them about, or not even like famous people in there, just like a random normal person, you know, how they keep their aquarium would almost be more interesting. And, you know, that is something.
Well, just cool. Learning how other people outside of the United States do the hobby. I think that I find that so interesting, because you can sometimes see the BS that we spew in this country, because it's all about marketing.
Yeah.
And you get to watch what it's really like when there isn't a market out there to kind of induce you to do, oh, you have to do this. It's not, they're it's all about the fish, reproducing the fish.
Right.
And that's the main focus. So yeah, no, it's I don't know. It's just one of those things where I find it real interesting. And I usually, and I don't know, this might be a big assumption on my part, but I feel like if I find something or somebody interesting, there's probably going to be a good group of people that might also find it interesting. So that's why cool. I do what I do.
I mean, it's nice. It's refreshing. It's like you're just chasing your own thing and not trying to chase, like, you know, a top 10 list or something like that, you know. Then you get those really dedicated people, like you say in the chats, like, you know, maybe less views, but like, you know, everyone's name, they're checking in all the time. It's not like they're just halfway invested. It's like they're really into the stuff you talk about, and you never have to worry about like, oh, are people not gonna be interested in this conversation? Cause like, you've done 80 episodes where you're talking to people you find interesting. At this point, everyone that's regularly checking in, they have the same taste as you. You know what I mean? And you don't even have to second guess it.
I have been so fortunate that you guys have supported me. You know, I remember the first time I had more than one person on a live stream, I was super excited because it's like, all right, there's somebody else here. And now consistently, it's always usually in the same amount of numbers. And
yeah,
what I find really fascinating is if you start looking at numbers, based off of my number of subscribers and the people that watch my live streams, I go to some other channels that have a lot more subscribers than I do and are just pulling in about the same number of viewers as I do. So to me, that really speaks volumes. I mean, that to me vindicates that what I'm doing is what you guys want to hear and what you guys want to watch.
Right.
And because it's only going to get bigger from, you know, the more people that come together and it's always cool too also to be able to bring people that are just kind of out there trying to find their area and be able to bring them into a community that's already established and be part of it. Kind of like what you were saying, you know, it's kind of like, I was out here and then all of a sudden
you brought
I
me
knew
in.
there was other people like me.
I appreciate it.
And that is not necessarily the goal, but I want people that what I saw in you and I found interesting. I'm sure that there's a lot of people out there that I know that would go, oh yeah, Nick, I like what Nick's doing. And that goes to with everybody that's been on as a guest on my live streams. Is, you know, there's always going to be a group of people that they're gonna kind of line up with what you're doing, and they'll find that interesting.
You're gonna have a lot of people blow up, and they'll be like, "Yep, I was the first person that saw the potential." I was the first person.
It's not even about that. It's not even about that. But I'll tell you what it is about, because I remember when I started doing live streams, the fact that I knew somebody that had a larger sub count than me had noticed that I was doing something, and they made a comment or something. That motivated me to continue to do what I was doing.
Yeah.
So if I can do a little bit of paying it back to channels that are just starting out and I'm not even talking about myself. I'm talking about people that I could, you know, say, hey, go check out this person. They're doing this and this and that. And they leave them a comment. I know as a content creator, that really means a lot.
Yeah.
Even if you get 1 subscriber per week, that's pretty exciting. That's one more that you didn't have.
Definitely.
And I don't know. It's just I know that feeling of going, okay, well maybe I'm going to continue to do this because I think somebody else is enjoying what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And that's still fresh in my mind. I still get it's funny because we were in San Antonio this last time, and there's a guy named Rob. It's called Our Little Fish Room.
Okay.
And I had already talked about his channel when I was doing the plug, but I was like, when I saw him at the store, I was like, oh shoot, I know you. And it was even weirder for him to go, yeah, I know who you are. It's like, well, no, but you're Our Little Fish Room. And he's like, well, yeah, but you know, I still get excited when I get to meet, you know, people that I watch. And it's got nothing to do with the sub count. It's just the fact that I'm meeting somebody that I enjoy watching their content.
Yeah.
And that excites me. So, you know, I know what that's like. So to be able to drive people to a channel and so they can experience that is what I find rewarding and satisfying.
Well, also you just like making them scared talking on stream. As Jesse said. He said I was shitting my pants trying to talk on your stream.
Well, and that's why
do you be honest? Do you enjoy that? Do you enjoy that, like helping someone work through that? Like when you see that they're nervous, like do you like helping them like get out of their box?
Yeah.
No, yes, I didn't mean to ask, do you like torturing people?
No.
I mean, like, do you like when you see someone's more nervous, be like, okay, I'm bringing them on, like, not only am I shouting them out, but we're gonna get them a bit more comfortable on camera. That's gonna help them too as they,
yes,
you know.
Yes, and I've had a lot of those where it's the first time. I know Jody P, when she came on, she was, although she had already been on somebody else's channel, and I could feel that she felt still a little bit awkward being the center of attention. But I felt like as we progressed, she got a little bit more relaxed and she was able to do that. Cheryl's the same thing. I didn't get that from Jesse though. I'm surprised that he's saying that. He seemed pretty outgoing when we were having. I didn't pick up on it at least. So he did a pretty good job of hiding it.
He's one of those, like, he's quietly stressing.
And then you find these people that you just got to shut up and you let them flow. And the best example of that was remember her name. For Incredibles.
Mm.
I'm hating myself because I can't remember her name.
What,
Nicole.
I was gonna say you take too long. Jody's gonna type the name in the chat.
No. It was Nicole. The video that I did from the fish room in the garage, I didn't have to say nothing. She was just a natural, being able to talk and all that, and that makes it so much easier because then all I have to do is just kind of ask a question here or there. But for the most part, if you watch that video, she did the entire talking, which probably is one of the reasons why that video is done so well because I'm not in that video. I don't come out. The very end is the only time you see me.
It is nice when you can
the beginning and the end
talking in their pocket,
Well, you were very open, and I know you hadn't really done a whole lot of live streaming, so it's. But here's the thing, though. You got a cigar.
I got. I'm imitating you for this one. Yeah.
The reason I say that is because I'm inside the house. I can't smoke inside the house.
Yeah.
No, but here's the thing. I knew you would be real easy to talk to because you are already used to performing in front of large audiences. So I don't know how many of you guys remember watching the live stream, but he's an artist. He's a singer. So a rapper. So yeah, Nick is a little star. He's always been a star. So
oh my gosh!
This was just
now you start to sound like you're
chump change for him.
Now you're going to full grandpa mode. You're like, I'm proud of you, Squirt. You're always a star in my eyes. No, I mean, I definitely I could talk. I definitely like to talk, and I like bringing up people like you who could talk too. Because although I'm starting to get a reputation for keeping people up too late. That's what people are starting to say. I have one person, a friend, be like, we're gonna talk, but I can't go 6 hours this time or whatever. I'm like, oh come on, man, come on.
Well, here's the beauty of this of YouTube and stuff like that. You might get out of this time zone where it's normal, operating hours for people, but then you start going into other people's time zone where it's early in the morning, midday, so you can continue to go. There's always going to be an audience, no matter what time of the day or night you decide to go live. I've learned that now. I mean, I knew it because I was part of those groups of people that would stay up late at night because I would be working and not be listening on YouTube and participating in chats. And, there's been a few times now where I start out at almost midnight over here on the, I guess, considered the West Coast, which would be like 3:00 for you guys in the East. And, people are still dropping in, they're, and then I'm seeing other people, most of the people that I know from either the UK or Australia, for them it's like early in the morning. I was like, finally a live stream that we can watch, that we don't have to watch the replay.
100%.
Yeah. Don't let that be the thing that stops you from doing your live streams. Again, a lot of the formal live streams that I do were really done with the idea of being listened as a playback anyways. That's because I don't have a set date, set time. So from
you really you go whenever.
Yes. Well, I have to because it's a lot of it is based not only on my time or availability, but a lot of it is also on my guests. Because if I'm inviting you, the least I can do is accommodate you. I'm not going to inconvenience you to go at a time just because I dictate that this is my time to go.
I mean, if you do that, you have people increasing their fees and all this stuff.
Yeah, not only that, you get shut out. You get shut out of the rest of the world, and that's why I've been very fortunate. I've been able to talk to some of our Aussie friends because I'm willing to stay up late, and for them it's like mid-afternoon.
That's awesome.
Same thing with people in the UK and stuff like that. And so, yeah, it's just, I've always done this with the intention that because I'll tell you what, when I'm doing maintenance in my fish room, I'm always looking for something that I can listen to while I'm doing the maintenance. And it doesn't have to be like a learning a learning video or something like that, because I'm not going to be paying attention. I just need background noise that I catch a couple of things here, or catch an interesting phrase, or something that'll make me stop and go, oh, okay, and then continue to do what I'm doing.
100%.
I don't want to have to sit there. I don't want to have to sit there and pay attention 100% of the time.
No, I agree. And that's why I like doing the long streams, because I always say I make content like the content that I watch. And that's why I listen to streams all day long. Like, that's mostly what I listen to, you know? Jorge is the king of random stream times. Nick is the prince of it, says Jesse. Okay. If I were to have you on one of these debates, what's a topic that you would want to debate? Nothing.
I'll debate anything.
Anything?
I'll even debate. I'll debate even stuff that I agree with.
Okay.
Just to be contrary.
No, because how we did is we picked a topic and then we flipped a coin to see who got for or against. But
it was funny because this was an exercise that I had to do in I think it was a speech class that I took in college.
Yeah.
And it was exactly that. And one of my favorite debates that I had was, we had a debate pro legalization of drugs or against the legalization. And I've changed my opinion on some of these topics, but at the time I was very against, oh no, all drugs are bad. But I had to defend the pro side of it.
Right.
And it was interesting to me to be able to flip that switch and then all of a sudden use, I guess, what I thought were my arguments against me. And it made it for a very interesting debate.
Yeah.
I was able to pull information that made me question what I really thought. I mean, were those beliefs based on information that I just kept hearing, or was it based on factual numbers? And when I had to go on the opposite side of that, I got to see the other side of that. And so that made me start changing the way I looked at things. I'm never sold 100% on anything. If you can convince me as to why it could be the other way, I'm willing to listen. So, and I found it to work pretty good for me. It doesn't mean that I don't have my own principles, but they're not set in stone. Let me put it to you like that.
I'm exactly the same way. Like, cause I'll get on here and I'll say all sorts of like just random, just ridiculous things, and like I also like to think out loud. So sometimes I'll say stuff. It's not like I really 100% believe it. You know what I mean? It's just like I'm flexible. Like new information, like I'll change my opinion. I'm not someone that's like, oh, this is what I believe. I gotta do anything to convince myself that this is still the truth. Like I can't let go. I can't be wrong about this. Like I'm willing to be.
Yeah, I'm not willing to. I'm willing to admit if I was wrong on something. I mean, I'm not gonna go to the grave on something just because I don't want to be looked at as being wrong. That's.
Yeah.
We're human. We're not perfect. We're full of imperfections, and we base our opinions on the information that we have.
And that's why
there's new information.
I'm trying to do it with the fish stuff is, find topics that I feel like could benefit from two people arguing them on stream. Cause I feel like, people disagree with a lot of stuff, but having like a real kind of formatted debate would be nice. And we did a Steve versus Jesse, and they debated if monster fish should be in the hobby. And what you said happened because Steve was against the monster fish and he was arguing against them. But there are some points that Jesse brought up where he was like, okay, I guess I don't actually believe like none at all, but that it just needs to be heavily regulated or whatever. You know what I mean? And
I think I'm a little bit more on that side of agreeing with that aspect, is not heavily regulated, but let's just take a fish, for example, red-tailed catfish, which are so prevalent in the hobby, and a lot of people buy them and then quickly realize they got in over the head. If they weren't so cheap, not anybody would be able to buy them. I think if they cost a lot more than what they're selling them for,
yeah,
if you're going to buy the fish, then you probably have done the research. What's going to require for you to keep that fish? I really do think that should be really the way you regulate that, because what happens is you get a lot of people that are not completely informed, and then they're seeing something that's relatively inexpensive, and it's always that, oh, I can get the fish now because it's so cheap, but then later on I'll get the upgrades for it. It never happens.
Yeah.
So if you really make it to a point where if you can afford the fish, you probably already can afford the equipment. So that's the way I look at it.
I mean, I think that's a very good point.
I think you should be allowed to buy whatever the hell you want to buy, but you should be able to also be able to provide for it. You want to have a great white shark in your aquarium, bro, as long as you can keep it alive.
Whoa,
I'm not one to tell you. I'm not
Hold
one to
up.
tell you can't do it.
Yo, you're starting to sound like an evil villain right now. Smoking cigars and you got the great white shark. Like, what are you feeding the shark, man? Your enemies?
No, the sharks are not going to eat anything. You got to have a group of piranhas so you can just dump the body in there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was talking to a professional. It's professional, Bill. It sounds like you're ready. It sounds like you're ready for the debate, though. I gotta think of a topic and an opponent for you. It's gotta be.
All right.
I gotta think of a topic. Are there any what are the controversial quote unquote aquarium topics that come to mind? Gee, there's a lot of disagreement.
Oh, controversial. You want to talk about controversial? No water changes. That's a real controversial one.
Okay. That's a good one.
What's another controversial one that people get all bent out of shape? The no water changes is probably by far the biggest.
This is the one. If fish can/should be kept in tanks that are 5 gallons or smaller.
There's a lot of fish you can keep in those tanks.
But there's a lot of people. If you go on Reddit or Facebook, people will say you can only keep shrimp in a 5-gallon tank.
I'll tell you what. I'm gonna be honest with you, and I know which one is Bettas. Bettas is another one that's real, contagious. The whole that you got to keep them in a gallon or bigger. Look, if you really understand how Bettas are bred. The big long fins that they have are not designed to be able to swim in a large space. They're not naturally like that. If you want to have a natural betta, it's going to have a spade tail on it, and it's going to be very agile. And then, that's going to need a larger body of water to be able to get around.
You got an inbred fish that can't swim.
Exactly. So what you're doing is you're torturing the poor fish by putting them in this big volume of water. And it's wearing itself out trying to get from one place to another. These things are bred in empty whiskey bottles. And they don't really have to go very far to be able to be fed and do anything that they have to do. So I don't know. It's just that's the whole. Now, is it ethical to do that? That's not the point. The point is.
So you could argue for keeping fish in 5 gallons. You think 5 gallons could keep tons of fish?
Yes. Obviously, you're not going to keep a full-grown Oscar in a 5-gallon tank. It's not going to fit. But even an Oscar, you can keep it as you're growing out as a fry, but eventually you're going to have to move it out of there. I mean, you can keep anything in a 5-gallon tank, but it's depending on how long you're going to be able to keep it in there.
All right.
So.
All right.
I don't have. Oh,
that's a good one. Come on, wait, I was about to say keep the topics coming. Come on. What? No water change. Okay, we got the tank size.
So so we have the change of time, the appearance fee, using too advanced platform, topics. Oh, buddy, you're gonna owe me half of your fish room by the time we're done.
Oh my god, bro.
And any future fry that you get too.
Hey, I'll pay you with livestock. I'll send you something, Joel, right? You want some scuds? Those would be real great for your filterless planted aquarium.
I'll just take all your isopods. That's okay.
I'll send you. You want isopods? I'll send you isopods.
No, I want all of them.
Oh, okay. Well, hold up. What about 2%? 2% of them?
Nope. All or nothing.
I
want you to be the isopod guy with no isopods. That's what I'm trying to do.
Hey, if I keep being incompetent, it's not outside the realm of impossibility. It's not outside the realm of possibility. My thing, I have a mealworms colony.
Okay.
It's also got terrestrial isopods in it,
Oh,
and
okay.
a black soldier fly larva. Basically what I'm saying is I don't know what I'm doing. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what's going on sometimes. Like I'll just be like just trying things, and then I'll just like look downstairs. I just see this like enclosure full of like giant
Your
worms
colony
and
sounds like what my microworm colony eventually turned into, a
oh
colony of
god,
microworms, maggots, and mites.
oh that's disgusting. No, no, my microworm colonies are pristine. That's my favorite live food. I love those things. That's my favorite. Let's see. Jesse said I keep bettas in 2.5s. That's like a mansion. 5 are good for breeding paradise fish. I hear those are underrated. That's what I keep hearing. If you can catch, if you can,
It's kind of like the original tropical fish.
yeah, I agree with
So.
Putu. She said if you can catch all the isopods, you can have them. Good luck. I agree. Next year you
Shop
come
vac.
for the clash.
Just bring a shop vac and siphon everything out of there.
That's inhumane. Come on, that's inhumane.
Oh, those to be in a receptacle.
No speaking fee is worth this. No speaking fee is worth this. Oh my god. Okay, Jorge. What I've kept you here for a long time. What else you got? Anything else on your mind? Anything you want to promote you got coming up?
Promote, I guess, if I can plug the 27th of this month, if you happen to be in the LA area, I highly recommend that you go to Nolan's Aquariums. They're going to be having a Madaka fish event. Predominantly Madaka fish are going to be there. I've kind of fallen into that rabbit hole lately, and it's the reason I find them really interesting and appealing is because I think that's the one species of fish that I could keep outdoors year round where I live,
Yeah.
because they're so tolerant to the extremes, and that's why I'm really interested in them. And so that's what I'm going to be doing on the 27th. I'm going to be up in the LA area. What I'm hoping to do is make some connections. I know several of the rice fish breeders are going to be there, have fish rooms. So I'm going to see if I can eventually schedule a fish room tour for these guys and get some more information on Madaka rice fish.
That I'm excited to see that. Like this might be the first video you have that I'm actually looking forward to.
Fuck you.
No, rice fish they're super cool, but like I was saying, we were saying before the stream, it's like they're still newer to the U.S. So like I don't even know what. Someone in our Discord bought some rice fish off of Reddit, and they're like, "Did I overpay?" I'm like, "I don't know if you overpaid. I don't know what a expensive rice fish should look like."
Well, here's the thing. There's I can't pronounce his channel name, but I know he goes by Madaka Metal.
Okay.
He's a guy out of San Francisco, and that's the first time that he had images that he had hand drawn of the different fins. Their tail fin is called a caudal fin, right?
Yeah.
There's different shapes that come to them, kind of like live bears and stuff like that. I didn't know that about rice fish. I thought they were all the same, and also their anal fin is also has different. There's different variations.
Yep.
And that's the different type. So I was like, oh, you mean to tell me there's a whole world out there that I have no clue about? I just thought they were all the same thing, and so I want to think. Are they considered killifish? I think they fall under the category of killifish.
They put them under killifish, but they're not really. They don't really belong there. No.
Because they're not annuals. They're not.
Also,
annuals and.
I forget who said this to me, but a killifish is kind of like it's basically like they just call any small fish that goes at the top, like that, like a killifish. So there's all sorts of things called killifish that aren't really.
At least killifish were considered
Yeah.
killifish, and they're not really killifish.
Or the Balana socks, that big Florida native livebearer, like that's its common name is the pike killifish. It's got nothing to do with killies, but I was just learning a Putu bird in the chat. She breeds Madakas, and it's like in her family because like from Japan, it's like traditional.
Yeah,
koi,
that's the thing. Though.
She has some family members that did koi breeding too, and she was telling me the names are actually based off of attributes, of the fish, and they got an inner light and outer light and all sorts of things. Like
I know Corey likes to claim that he was the first one talking about rice fish here in the United States, but I learned about rice fish because of Ryo. He used to go when he was doing some store tours. Actually, his uncle, the house that he lives in, he had some ceramic pots, and he's the one that I started hearing talking about how that was a common fish to keep.
Yep.
So that's where I started, like almost a year before I ever heard him mention from anybody here in the States.
When did Corey say he was the first one to talk about rice fish?
I don't know. The trip that he took to Japan, which is several years ago.
Okay.
But recently he did a live stream where he's like, yeah, I remember when I went there, and he was just kind of saying that. And I know he said he didn't bring them to the United States or anything like that.
Yeah.
But he was kind of saying that he was kind of like one of the first persons talking about them. And yeah, he was, but I remember Ryu doing it way before he was.
Well, I did laugh.
I remember how.
I was gonna say I did laugh a little, like when he went to Dance Fish, he saw some cool rice. It's like with Corey, it's so funny because sometimes it's like a direct line. Like so he went to Dance Fish, he saw some cool rice fish, he ordered them, he previewed them. He's like, yeah, I told Dan don't put the picture up yet because I want to make sure I get them first. He's doing the tubbing, and then all of a sudden it's the next trending fish is gonna be rice fish. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so funny. You just started doing your big summer tubby thing. Now rice fish are trending, and it's kind of like I had this thought, kind of like you said. I feel like rice fish have been trending like the last 2 years.
Although
they've been pretty popular.
I have to admit this. He was the one that I saw that he had them under ice and they survived.
He has that with the shrimp. The shrimp too. I saw that with him.
The sherry shrimp were in there too, and that's when I started going, maybe we're getting this whole idea of what these fish can tolerate.
Yeah,
totally incorrect. But again, I think the reason that was able to be successful because it wasn't sudden. It was a gradual. He left them outdoors. The fish started adapting to the weather, the change, and all that stuff. Not all fish are going to tolerate that, but I think some fish are built to be able to tolerate that because they're out in the wild. So
And Corey, there's a lot of the reason I like him is because he does every now and then try something and provide some really useful kind of novel information. You know what I mean? Like he's willing to experiment.
He's constantly tinkering with stuff, and I can appreciate that. I mean, I really enjoy 100%. A lot of the business aspect of it, the insight that he provides. I like the fact that he is still a hobbyist while he's running a business, because that is true. One of the comments that he made is how many of the big company aquarium companies out there that actually keep fish, and they're not in it for the fish keeping, they're in it for the business.
Yeah. No,
so
I definitely
agree with his perspective on certain things. Do I agree with everything that he says? No, but we don't all agree with each other 100%. Yeah. So that's okay.
Sometimes people I do quote unquote hate on aquarium co-op sometimes, and I tell people it's because I like them. You know what I mean? Like I care about. I'm like a fan. I got the shirts. I watch him. I watch his live streams. Like you said, he has good insights and stuff. And when you care about someone, if you feel like they did something you don't agree with, you're gonna tell them. If I don't like someone, I'm not gonna waste my time talking about I feel like you did this wrong or you should improve this. Like that's I don't care. I'm not watching your videos anyway. You know what I mean? But he definitely is. He comes out with a lot of good stuff, good information. So
yeah.
Didn't like that Brian Shrimp video I did, but I still love you, Corey. Well,
I heard they're done with brine shrimp. They're not really. I thought that's what I heard in one of the deep in the moment. I must have
Really? Oh, like
misunderstood
a
it.
recent
Yeah.
a recent one? Like done
Yeah.
as in like he's gonna stop bringing them in, kind of a thing.
Yeah, they're not really. I think that's the whole reason for the push for the magic feed and the other stuff.
You know what's so funny is the same friend that I made that video because he kept complaining.
Yeah.
His whole thing this whole time is he was like, I think Corey's gonna get rid of the brine shrimp, man. I'm scared. And I actually asked in a pre-chat on an aquarium call, like when he's hanging out in the chat, I asked, "Are you guys gonna get rid of the brine shrimp?" He's like, "No, that's false. Whoever told you that is spreading misinformation." So like, I'm gonna go look at the Deep to the Bone podcast, and if that's true, I'll have to tell my friend, like, man,
I
you're
could
right.
have heard him say something to that effect,
Yeah,
but
I'll have to check.
I could be wrong.
I mean, right now the price is too expensive for it to really make any sense. So like, if it's still expensive to bring in, then it kind of makes sense to get rid of it. But like,
you just got to put 1 and 2 together to figure it out. The big push behind the new fish food is just because,
right?
And you know, it's funny how they keep saying it's very similar to brine shrimp, and to me, that's kind of like, okay, I know what you're doing.
Yeah, and you know what?
You're preparing the ground to convince people that they don't eat brine shrimp, and this is a lot easier, which it is. That's the reason I don't do brine shrimp, because it's a pain in the butt.
I agree. I don't hatch it. That's why I got into the decapsulating, because I don't like hatching it. But you know, my most consistent critiques around aquarium co-op revolve around things like that, where it's like you put 1 and 2 together and you're like, this is happening, but they'll always deny that is like what's happening. You know what I mean? Like Steve put in the chat when he did the stream with Dan, he was like comparing brine shrimp directs golden pearls to magic feed, and you could tell Corey was super annoyed by that. Yeah, if before golden pearls sucked, blah blah. So like I go and I'm like, he seemed really upset about it. Let me look up. I look up golden pearls. You know, the language they use the same. Imitates brine shrimp. Suspended in the water column. You know what I mean? And it's older product. So I'm like, okay, he seems sensitive about that for a reason. That's more the kind of stuff that I'm like, I critique about that. But yeah, like you said, 1+2 situation. Yeah.
Well, Nick, I really enjoyed this, but I don't need my wife to pop her head in here for a second time because I know she needs something.
Understand.
So I'm going to cut out of here.
Absolutely fine.
But yeah, anytime you want to come back to mine or you want me to come on yours, you know, just all you got to do is reach out. That's it.
I love to come on over. As long as you pay my speaking fee in advance, then we're good.
Oh yeah, yours is easy. I just got to find some isopods out in the backyard and you'll be happy.
Asshole.
Some roly-polies.
Okay, Jorge, it's great talking to you. We'll do it again soon.
Likewise. And thank you, everybody.
Yep. Take it easy. Oh, I keep streaming after my guests leave, by the way. That's why.
All right. Later.
Peace.
How do I get out of here?
Get out. Okay, I hung up on Jorge since he doesn't know how to use Discord. Give me a second, guys. We'll wrap this stream up. Hold on. How's everyone doing? He did say once he's out, he's gonna be out. You both Nick put co-op eggs out of business. Oh, shut up. We can't get this narrative where I'm just a hater all the time. Like, no one wants to just be the hater. That's why we got to do positive content around here. Positive content. Okay. Turn my video on. Later, everyone. Thanks for stopping by. Talking to Jorge. Okay. They discovered blueberry snails with filter feeders. That's funny. Jesse said, preach, you don't need brine shrimp. Oh my gosh. You're just looking for an excuse not to hash brine shrimp out. I still think it's crazy you don't hash brine shrimp. That's a little bit wild still. A man who creates discussions. I want botanical from KJE Aquatics. Alright, guys. How are we feeling about the conversation with Jorge? You guys enjoy that? It felt like pretty poppin' chat. Everyone talking around. Definitely, I had a harder time keeping up with chat with Jorge. He definitely keeps up with the talking, so it was harder to be like, yeah, let me take a break to read the chat. Like, no, because we're chatting ourselves. So I apologize. But Putu said, great convo. Jody's phone died. Oh my gosh. Barbara said it's fun. Jorge is always a good stream. Oh, look at these positive reviews. Cage Aquatic said it's good. All right. No, that's encouraging. Let me see. Yo, Steve said I dozed off. You're such a hater. Well, would you say the wife gotta go, man? Surely listens. Yeah, no, he's a good guy. He's like, I'm needed. I gotta head out. I actually have a flight tomorrow, so I'm not gonna do my thing where I say I'm getting off soon and I stream for like 5 hours. Was the fee worth it, Barbara? I gotta be honest. I'm conflicted on the fee. I'm conflicted, but I think it was worth it. He did all right. Jorge's great at keeping a conversation going. Yes, I agree. I love chatting with him. So, keep always commenting these debate topic ideas, because I got to get Jorge on one of these too soon. No. I'm a hop off stream. I'm gonna hop off stream in a second. I'm just checking in with everyone real quick. Yeah, I'm gonna be out of town. For a little bit, unfortunately. But I might try and do one stream while I'm gone, talk about something. But when I get back, there's gonna be a bunch of stuff going on. So I'll be going up to Jesse's to do a fish room tour. Hopefully, I'll do Elite Mentionary Aqua Habitats tour while I'm down there. See the store. I got a few other videos I'm working on finishing. Well, I think I'm gonna do it while I'm traveling, so I actually have to sit down and edit. Johnny Best said, when you get back, then I'm getting some isopods. Yeah. Oh, I need to put that on my site because I can't. So if you do order everything, I can't ship up here, not down there. I always say down no matter where I talk about going. I don't know why, but that's just how I am. I got 10 more tanks of water change. That's exactly how I am. But no, I have to do my laundry. That's what I gotta go do. I gotta go do my laundry, and then I gotta make sure my fish are gonna survive while I'm gone. I gotta figure out how that's gonna work. Who knows? My site name is inmytanks.com. I know. Original. Jesse said they'll be fine. We'll see. I brine turkey, not shrimp. Bold statement. A bold statement. I mean, I like brine shrimp. I do. Well, I'm gonna figure out my relationship with brine shrimp eventually, and then it'll be fine. But I just have to work on it. Okay. Maybe get some relationship counseling with the brine shrimp eggs. I gotta go find and someone send it to me if you find it, but the In My Mom episode, where they mentioned the brine shrimp thing, that would be pretty interesting. There's some people I know that are gonna want to order as many cans of brine shrimp from them while they can, if that's true. But it was just it's hearsay from now on, so no one take that as the truth. We don't actually know if that's true. I don't want to spread no rumors. VBS are such prima donnas compared to worms. Our brine shrimp hatchery keeps crashing. Oh wow. I just need to dial in my mass producing Daphnia situation, and then there's gonna be zero problem. I'll never need the brine shrimp again. I'm part of the Daphnia agenda and all the various forms and sizes of it. I think it's nice to have. I think it's easy. Very easy. It's not about it being actually hard, because hatching brine shrimp isn't necessarily actually that hard. It's just that so different people have different kind of levels of friction to perform certain tasks. For me, Folding laundry is a high friction task for me mentally. I don't know why. It's just like I just don't want to. There's other things I want to do. The same thing with brine shrimp. It's like it's not necessarily hard. Just like for some reason, there's just a lot of friction in my head with doing that. KG Aquatics is brine shrimp direct is where I got huevos for, never the co-op. Yeah, I mean, I definitely still like the co-op eggs the most out of the ones I've tried, besides their, in my opinion, equivalent. The drop shipping kings beanie. 186 lurking in the distance. No, I feel like when you say you're lurking, like it already is like, it's not like, you know, it's internet culture, so it's not that creepy, but like when you add like lurking in the distance, that sounds a bit more like you're outside my window. Johnny Best said, I'm too lazy, might have well, but freeze dries brine shrimp, call it a day. Yeah, I think the thing with brine shrimp is that feeding response, you know, it's the moving around. It's, you know, it's not hard. It just needs a lead time, and I'm more of a moment person. That's why decapsulating the eggs is almost easier for me, because it's just more instant gratification, you know. We just got Moina and rotifer eggs to try new foods. Yeah, from some of the papers I've read, it seems like rotifers are like one of the most kind of subtly hyped live foods these labs use, but I think it's just the culturing of them that they're dialing in, basically. Well, what did these scientist nerds know? They want a beaker, a flask. What, a Bunsen burner? I need a Bunsen burner to hatch that. You know what I mean? Like, if you got the Green Water Company rotifers, they don't hatch. The Moina and Magna hatch out fine. I sell Dr. Bassler foods. I really use more of the baby nano foods with the fish I bred. I think I got one of his foods in an auction. I feel like the fish liked it. I've heard good things about Dr. Bassler's foods. I've been doing a lot of experiments making some of my own little food concoctions. Jorge said, hey, don't be talking about me because I'm old. So let me get this straight. You're going to use your age as an excuse for why I got to pay you more for using Discord. And then simultaneously, you're going to complain about people calling you old. You can't use your age as an excuse to get mad when other people talk about you being old. Not old, I'm a classic. Okay, hold up. 1 second. I don't know, for some reason I can't get my camera working properly. But here's the thing. Yes, I'm a diva. You really are a diva. That's a problem. There's a problem. Streaming used to be fun. It used to be fun, and then now you have to deal with all these personalities that I think they're the bee's knees. Like they're a star. Oh, I don't need the big YouTubers to come on. I'm the big YouTuber. Like, but let's look up what is the definition of a classic. Let me just fact check Jorge here. Okay, how many years? 20 years or older? That's for cars. No way, that's not old enough. A classic car, you only got to be 20 plus years. No way. What about how old to be antique? 100 years old. Okay, you're an antique, Jorge. This is official. It's official. You're not old, Jorge. I could have babysat you. I'm headed for my other grandkids. Okay, classic. The tank feeds itself. Ain't that the best food? Best and free food? I don't know. What tank you got feeding itself? Sound a little sketchy to me. Didn't Mexicali have to help his wife or something? Well, I mean, it doesn't. You can type with, you know, you can multitask. Just can't be on the phone, you know, on stream with the headset on. It's a little bit extra. a little bit extra. My daily driver is 20 years old. You drive a classic. Just like Jorge, man. It's crazy. Now we really get the truth of things. I'm gonna have to pick up the other grandkids. I'm driving. What? He's chatting and driving. Someone call 911 right now. Someone call 911. Yo, is it Friday? Did Wet Spot put out their new fish? You guys know I'm a degenerate. Let me see. Everyone's getting in the Congo spotted puffers right now. Let's see if they got them too. This is the new fish. It said it was updated. Fork-tail loach. Is this that fish that no, Fishery has some weird fish that looks kind of like this, I feel like. Stoplight? Okay, like that makes it better. 04 is the newest vehicle in my driveway. Distracting driving is legal in Arizona. I'm not gonna stream for 5 more hours. Tutu. I'm going to retaliate somehow. I just can't think of how. But I feel attacked. Yeah, they said they updated it, but a lot of these are the same the last time that I checked this. Okay, let me see what Dan's fish added recently. Only a little irresponsible, lol. Find a price better than mine? There's no price better. I already got my Congos. They're coming from one place. That's just one more fish. Order now before I buy them all. No, I'm not that rich. 186 element, lots of in my tanks this week. Hey, if you guys want, I can stream less often. Don't worry. Like I said, I'll be out of town this upcoming week, so you'll get a break from me for a little bit. We'll see who really appreciates me while I'm gone. Have more if anyone else wants any. Okay, when I got a notification for these. There's 10 left. There's 15 when I checked, so I just bring these up because we talked about these a good bit on the other stream. The left-sided libear. I do still really want these, but I gotta be honest, I expended my fish budget for like a very long time. Like after I get these Congo puffers, there's gonna be no fish buy for a while. Like I gotta be at least a little responsible. So someone else is gonna need to buy these and breed them, so I can buy them from you later. Johnny Best said all the microorganisms that somehow come to life in our tanks, like Father said, the tank feeds itself. Can we get a wellness check on Johnny Best? I think they're having a mental episode in the chat. A little bit all caps. You talk about the tank feeding itself, Father Fish. I don't know what's going on. Okay, what's on Aquabid? I do have to go, but let me do my rounds. Let me check out my ads. Oh, 6 golden tortoiseshell Medaka rice fish. They just name these things anything. It's like an orange fish. What's going on here? Is there any wild bettas on here that I like? Bettas, wild types. Just add dirt and pond to a tank and it's a never-ending food source, right? I mean, sounds good to me. Ooh, the Betahindra still on there. Oh, the Paris. He's got the Paris phone on there now. I was seriously considering the Betahindra. I want to do another wild betta type. What they don't know won't hurt them, Keith. Yeah, this is sounding like a very corrupt mafia boss or something. Now the piranha shark talk is making sense. Fuji said, oh, pretty bettas. Yeah, the Betahindra, like, I want to do another betta, and I don't want to do another red one. It's just all about like how aggressive they are. Like that's my limiting factor. It's got to be able to be with other stuff to some extent, whether it's like when the fry are growing out or whatnot. But If I were to buy another wild betta right now, this is on my list. I should be getting some knife light bearers soon. Knife life bearers. Nope, they're not my one-sided light bearers. I'm sorry. I do remember this from the BAP stream though, actually. I do. Knife light bearers. That's a pretty uncommon. Wait, well, if I remember from the BAP stream, how many points are they? Okay, we'll circle back to that, Jesse. Hold up. Maybe I spoke too quickly. Maybe I spoke too quickly. Whoa, 2 Spectrolibrius posted. Are these the illegal Brazil fish? F2 pair. Oh wait, originally came from wild fishes I collected in Bolivia. Okay, I just need to visualize. Let's look up Bolivia on the map just so I can visualize where it is. Cause all right, I see. We might be good here. I don't know. Ooh, look at that. What? Buy now was only $30. Only $15 shipping. Look at this. What the hell? Hey. Okay, nope. I can't buy any more fish. I'm saving all my money for those Congos. That's all I got left. I can't spend a single cent. No. We gotta focus on breeding, but man, that's pretty cool. Not gonna lie. They're still shipping around this 2 pairs of blue Galaris, this hybrid Galaris. I feel like the issue is, I mean, people are buying them, so I'm sure they can sell them. But my issue is like, it's not like I have anything against hybrids, but like, the whole point of killifish for me is in part conservation. So like, I'm not gonna put up the space in my fish room for some new hybrid strain of blue Galaris. Like, if I had like infinite space, then maybe I'd do it. But that kind of ruins the appeal of killifish for me. But I do see why people might want to do it. This is a cool one for eggs in the U.S. Epiplates zinchri, Kilion, COT, F1 eggs. This is one of those epiplates that they look too good to be true situation. Look at that. It's like a freaking rainbow. You got the yellow fins, bottom top, yellow caudal, and then just straight up rainbow slick, like a oily reflection all across the side. It's pretty cool. I'm telling you, this guy in Hawaii, he's got all these F1 eggs. Like, he must have gotten the sickest import ever like 6 months ago. He's been killing it. He's putting up all sorts of cool stuff. Definitely putting up, I would say he's putting up the coolest stuff on Aquabid consistently as far as just like one individual. He's running the game out here as far as I'm concerned. We got another rivalous species. There's actually a decent amount of eggs popping up right now. There's a decent amount of eggs. Is it killie season again? We got Medaka eggs up here. Holy. Yep, and then they don't wanna post a photo of anything. I hate when they do this. Epiplates singa pointy. Ugh. Anyways, I'm not getting sucked in, guys. Jorge, thank you so much for the talk. You guys have been great. Thank you so much for hanging out, watching. SC, Jesse, KJE, Poo2, Mexicali. I gotta thank you. You hopped in the chat, so I gotta thank you. You know, SC, Johnny Best, of course, coming through. 186, always lurking from the distance. Love to trip on fish. Appreciate you driving through with the classic just to say hi. You know, William Justice, always spreading the misinformation about me, man. I'm not a hater. Barbara Jackson, thank you for telling Jorge to stop using his age as an excuse. He needs to learn to respect his elders. Cheryl, of course, stopping by. Dee, I saw you in here earlier. Appreciate it. Redneck Aquatics, thanks for coming through. coming through, and Imprint after. Hope you're out there doing well. I hope you actually have finally put fish in your tank, man. We all been waiting to see the results. All right, so that's as far as my my chat thing goes up, and of course Jody P. Can't forget Jody P. Saved the best for last there. That was close. If I didn't say goodbye to Jody P, I would have felt like an asshole. Come on. Jody P said, "Have a safe trip, Nick." Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm definitely not looking forward to flying, but I'm flying one way and then driving this way, so at least I only had to do it once. Yeah, hopefully I don't crash and die. And on that positive note, everyone, thank you. We'll be back. Leave a comment with your thoughts. I love when people comment. And of course, you know this has been. And Barbara, yes, thank you as well. But yeah, it's been in my tanks.